Information Group, giving you a big and beautiful shout out from Honolulu, Hawaii here. And today we're going to be quickly talking about how the full moon energies can help your business. Now, for those of you who not know, for the past 20 years, I've been a professional energy healer, meditation teacher, and basically showing people how energy healing, meditation, and practical spirituality can transform their lives. And my specialty is helping business owners and executives take their business to the next level, have team harmony, as well as increasing joy and creativity within the workplace. So this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. For the past 20 years, I've been participating in the full moon meditations that come around every single month through the organization I've been part of called the Pranic Healing Organization or Pranic Healing Institute. So what's the deal with full moon? Like, why is doing something on the full moon more powerful than doing it on other times of the day, week, month, etc.? Because the solar energy hits the planet strongest during the full moon. So if you're going to do any kind of spiritual practice, you would do it at the peak of the full moon. Now, we recommend that you do your meditation practices every single day for other reasons, but if you can only meditate one time of the entire month, you meditate at the peak of the full moon. The second time would be meditating at the half full moon or new moon, which is the 2 weeks after the full moon. How do I want to put this? The full moon, a great teacher, Holy Master DK from Tibet, he says the full moon is either a time of crisis or opportunity. So what does that mean? Most people, business owners, executives, and other people have lots of stress that they have not dealt with throughout their day, their week, their work week, their quarter, etc. And that stress energy accumulates. Now, if you are not dealing with your stress in an appropriate way, and it's right around the full moon, that stress is going to be amplified and magnified within your system, because the full moon, the energy of the sun creating the full moon, is a amplifier of energy, right? So spiritual energy is like a fertilizer. So if you have a plot of land and you plant seeds in that land and then you water it, it's going to grow to a certain speed. And if you fertilize it, it's going to grow even faster. So spiritual energy makes whatever's inside of you grow faster, whether it's the stress growing faster, or if you're a practitioner who keeps their energy body clean, bright, healthy, and you introduce excess spiritual energy, it amplifies that within your system. That's why it's a time of crisis or a time of opportunity, depending upon how clean your energy body is. So this full moon, because today is the full moon, I think we're right around the peak right now, it's the full moon of Virgo. And one of the benefits of meditating each and every full moon throughout the 12-month calendar year is that you get to absorb the positive qualities of that particular astrological sign. So it's the full moon of Virgo. One of the qualities of Virgo is industriousness, making things happen, very good work ethic, right? If you want a really industrious employee, it's best to have them as a Virgo. And it's interesting, I can not tell you, I've been doing this kind of work for over 20 years. And for the longest time, I was like, astrology, sun signs, ascending signs, moon signs, it's all nonsense. But as I've studied it and reflected on my own life and the people in my life and examining clients and people that work with them, oh, you're a Virgo. Well, hey, Ellie, I'm an namaste, how are you? Well, happy full moon to you. I guess your birthday happened a couple days ago or maybe happening in a couple days. So as I reflect more and more on the astrological signs, I'm amazed on how accurate it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Eli? It's probably Eli, isn't it? My apologies. But one of the great teachers says that astrology is the science of sciences. And I was like, that's really interesting. So over the years, I've studied this more and more and more. Thank you for the correction. And how valuable it is in knowing thyself to transform ourselves from the inside out. And as a business owner, if you know your employees, your vendors, your suppliers, the people you're doing business with, your partner, if you know these qualities within them better, you know how to deal with them, how to interact with them, how to get not the most out of them, but how to optimize success and minimize suffering and pain. Okay, does that make sense? So I just want to cover a couple of the reasons why we meditate on the full moon. So number one, meditating on the full moon is equivalent to getting a spiritual shower, not like a little drip of water, but like standing under Niagara Falls. Because there's more energy available to us during the full moon than at any other time of the entire month, right? And not all full moons are created equal. The most powerful full moon of the entire year is the full moon of Taurus, which is typically at the end of April or the beginning of May. I see someone else. A.B. Jod, Namaste, how are you? What do you think about India's? Yeah, Vedic astrology, excellent. I've had very good experiences with that. My first Vedic astrology chart reading was done in 1999 or 2000, and the guy didn't know me from a hill of beans, and he did my chart, and he was so precise with it, I was amazed. So I'm not an expert, that's not my area of expertise, but I do implement it from time to time in working with people. The cycles that I most follow, taught to me by my teacher, Grandmaster Choa Koksui, are the 7-day Kabbalistic cycle, the yearly Kabbalistic cycle, and the 7-year Kabbalistic cycle. And that served me very, very well, especially for the business clients that I work with, because it's very simple, to the point, not a lot of room for interpretation, and it's immediately practical. Because what I like to do with these streams, my YouTube channel, working with clients, is I want to give information that is practical immediately, not something you have to wait years to see the benefits of, or even next lifetime, right? We want to see it like, okay, what's the theory, what's the practice, and when can I expect to receive the result, right? So, okay, so number one, it's like receiving a very intense shower. So if you want to clean up your negative thoughts, your negative emotions, your disease-congested energy, meditating during the peak of the full moon, which is today, is the best, versus doing it with not such a downpour of spiritual energy, right? So this is a great time to meditate. Turbo, sorry guys, I have the light blinding me today. Turbo Hanks, but there's no one else watching besides me, and I'm gonna leave. Fair enough. We'll see you around next time. Hope you come back. So, what's the other part? I have my notes here. I'm kind of doing this on, I have to head out the door soon. That's why I want to jump on real quick. Great time to energize your goals. Everything in life requires energy. Your health requires energy. Your relationships require energy. Your spiritual practice requires energy. Every part of your life requires energy, right? So when you access the energies of the peak of the full moon, like today, you have more energy available to you to do things with, right? So that's a benefit of, it's a great time to bless your goals. So you know those vision boards or goal boards that people have, right? In our world, we call them Kriya Shakti boards, where you have pictures and images and words of things that you want to materialize in your life. That's a great time to bless those projects during the peak of the full moon. Another reason, another way we can take advantage of the peak of the full moon, it's like a tailwind for our life versus a headwind. So if you're in a plane, you have a headwind, it consumes more time, more energy, more fuel to get to the same location. But with a tailwind, you have the wind behind the plane, pushing the plane, using less fuel and doing it in faster time. So when we plan things and bless things during the peak of the full moon, we have more energy. Zach, namaste. The moon is always full to God? Sure. It's perception, right? And from the angle we are in the planet. So that's another benefit of meditating during the peak of the full moon. It's a tailwind versus a headwind. We cover the spiritual shower. We cover absorbing the positive qualities of that particular sign. You have extra energy to bless your goals because everything in life requires energy, right? So I would encourage each and every one of you today, no matter where you are in the world, you can take advantage of the full moon energies. So again, the full moon energies, this is the full moon of Virgo. So if you're looking to be a better worker, more industrious, the ability to get things done, kind of like the Nike logo of or slogan, just do it. This is a great time to bless some of your projects and to tap into that energy. And there are specific practices that one can do to take advantage of the energies of the full moon. We're not going to cover them in this particular live stream, but I'm just planting the seed. My sign is Gemini, and so I'm very much about seed planting ideas into people's minds of like, I never thought about that before. How do I take advantage of that moving forward? So just doing any kind of meditation, even sitting still with your eyes closed for 5 minutes during this day, you can absorb some of the positive qualities of the full moon of Virgo. To take advantage of anything seems against the Tao. Why have goals when Dharma is goalless? Actually, it's a good point. So it's kind of like asking the question, is there free will or there isn't free will? And I would challenge you to look at both. That it's both. It's paradoxical truth. But actually, Zachariah or Zach brings up a good point related to these particular live streams that we do on the Inner Transformation Group channel. My goal is always to have you guys have practical tools and techniques that you can apply in the moment and then get feedback from that. So there are other channels that specialize in talking about the philosophy of spirituality or theology, comparing different religions to one another. That's not really what we do on this particular channel, because we could sit, the term is called a metaphysician. A metaphysician is someone who has studied different spiritual teachings and they philosophize about those spiritual teachings, but they don't actually have a very deep experiential understanding of those spiritual teachings. So this particular channel, I choose to say, okay, here's the theory behind why we practice what we practice. Here's the practice of that. And then what's the feedback, right? Sorry, I'm having a hard time seeing. So do you think that we take Eastern methods and make them fit our Western philosophy? It's a good question. I would look at it more like exercise, right? So if we're talking about removing the dogma, removing the superstitions, if we look at it from the principles of how energy flows, you can be a Buddhist and practice exercise and it will benefit you. You can be a Hindu and practice those same exercises and it will benefit you. You can be a Christian and practice those same exercises, it can benefit you. So there are biological laws through exercise that if everyone follows them, they will derive the benefit. It doesn't matter what their belief system is, it doesn't matter what their religion is, it doesn't matter what their politics are. So on this particular channel, that's what we talk about, the principles of energy and the laws of energy, that if you follow X, Y, and Z, you'll get the desired result regardless of what your theological standings are. Am I enlightened? No. And actually, that's a very good question. See, I like Zachariah kind of takes the conversation in different directions. That is interesting that we could talk about. But enlightenment isn't an on or off switch. Enlightenment's like a dimmer switch, right? So you have degrees of awakening. You don't have like, oh, I'm completely ignorant and in the darkness about everything, about myself, about life, about others. And then one day I wake up and I'm fully illuminated, right? It's a degree of awakening, right? But again, great conversation, great opportunity for discussion. So my encouragement to each and every one of you guys, because I got to head out here relatively soon, is today is the full moon of Virgo. Have some kind of meditation practice. Do something of just sitting and going, okay, I'm going to absorb the positive qualities of Virgo and just sit for a couple minutes. Or get out your goal list, get out your vision board, raise your hands in a blessing position, and then just bless or energize those projects so they can materialize faster, because everything needs energy to materialize, okay? So I hope that helps. Degrees as for thermostat enlightenment versus full transformation. Yes, correct. So for instance, the enlightenment of a monk would be different than the Lord Buddha's enlightenment. They're both enlightenment. They're both expanded levels of consciousness, but the Lord Buddha's enlightenment is much different than, say, an ordinary monk's enlightenment. Does that make sense? So they're degrees of enlightenment. It's kind of like we have a particular sun in our solar system, which has a certain level of light, but there are other suns in other solar systems that have much greater light. It doesn't mean that our sun is less than, it just means it doesn't have the same degree of enlightenment. You're not nobility born, correct. Just an ordinary guy that's been doing this work for 25 years. So, and I like sharing it with other people. So Zach, if you're not following the channel, definitely love to have you come back on. We do these live streams typically Monday through Friday around this time, which would be 12 o'clock p.m. Honolulu time. I'm here in Honolulu, Hawaii. You are noble. I'm working on being more noble, if that helps. So on that note, guys, thank you very much for sharing your time and energy with the group. May the good karma come back to you many, many times. And I look forward to seeing you later on in the week. So this is Christian Long with the Inner Transformation Group, wishing a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.